Let's start the year by looking back. Another year of gaming has passed, and I gotta say, it was not as exciting as 2014, but nevertheless, I was still thoroughly entertained with the games that I did get to play in 2015. Now it's time to look back on my personal favorite games I played last year. Just like with other lists that have come before, the games on this list didn't necessarily have to come out in 2015, but I had to have played it for the first time last year. And let's just say that placing these games in the list was no easy task, as a number of these games were really, really good. So with that said, let the chaos commence. The PS4 is looking pretty good for 2016, but last year there really weren't that many games that piqued my interest. Fortunately, there was one PS4 game that managed to keep me engrossed in its gameplay. Enter Tearaway Unfolded. You take control of a messenger who is tasked with delivering a message to our world because these guys say so? Along the way, you'll encounter the Scraps, enemies from our world who terrorize the land with the most diabolical evil ever known: newspaper. While this game does look like your typical 3D platformer, it brings much more to the table than you think. By utilizing the DualShock 4's features, it provides a platforming experience that's on puppeteer levels of unique. Using the DualShock 4's light and motion controls as a means of interacting with the environment, and using the touchpad to jump on these drums, draw stuff into the environment, and control the freaking wind? Yes, please! And this art style is just so charming. It's like you're in a pop-up book filled with lots of paper crafts, and you get to interact with almost all of it. I highly recommend picking this one up if you have a PS4. It's an adventure that's worth unfolding. That was bad. One of the games that I played in 2014 was Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. I enjoyed that game so much that I wanted more! So yeah, Shantae Risky's Revenge. This game definitely delivered on my hunger for more of this series. The gameplay is what you'd expect from a Shantae game with great 2D platforming and hair-whipping combat, but unlike Pirate's Curse, Risky's Revenge has a big emphasis on exploration. I mean, yes, Pirate's Curse had it, but most of the time you just select an area and travel from point A to point B. With Risky's Revenge, the game felt like an expansive 2D world that I had to go out of my way to explore and find everything, thanks in part to the ability to go into the background in some locations, and using abilities to unlock secret areas scattered across the world. On that note, what would a Shantae game be without trusty abilities to help you along the way? In this game's case, you have Shantae's transformations. You have the monkey form to climb up walls, the elephant form to crush rocks, and the mermaid form to traverse water. The art style and visuals are just as appealing as they were for me with Pirate's Curse. But the only real issue I have with the game is, unlike Pirate's Curse, Risky's Revenge is very short. But even so, I think this is a well-crafted game, and I think it did its job at holding me over while I wait for Shantae Half-Genie Hero. Man, this game's looking so good. If paper crafts aren't your thing, then how about yarn? Yoshi's Woolly World is by far one of the most charming games I've ever played. Crafted by the same people that made Kirby's Epic Yarn, this game takes the concept of yarn, sews the gameplay and charm of Yoshi to it, and fabricates a platformer that threads its own form of unique design. From what I've played of it, each level is cleverly made and can be fairly challenging. Some of the collectibles are hard to find and obtain, and unlike Epic Yarn, you can die in Woolly World. Though if you do, you just get sent back to the last checkpoint. The trade-off is you have to recollect everything that's past the checkpoint if you die, and considering some levels can be hard to navigate through while collecting everything, you might be dying a few times here and there. Though what makes this game, for me at least, is its charm. I mean, look at it. It's just so adorable. How can you look at this and not feel all warm, fuzzy, and happy inside? This is one of the most fun games I've played on the Wii U. Definitely give this one a try. If only there was a way to get my own Yarn Yoshi in real life and oh my god, so adorable! Bayonetta II. Before playing this game, I did play some of the first game on the PS3, and I enjoyed it, but this game, oh man, this game expands on the first game. It's got everything you'd expect from the original with all the combos you can pull off, the various torture attacks, different weapons, witch time, and the climaxes, but now there's the inclusion of the very satisfying Umbran climax, which makes your attacks giant and gives them a power boost. Basically, it's on the scale of a Unite morph. Wait a minute. The story aspect of the game has also improved. Being honest here, I had absolutely no idea what the heck was going on in the first game, to the point where I just scratched my head in confusion. Bayonetta 2's story is more concise and understandable, and the characters are much, much better. As with the first game, the bosses are a joy to fight. And let's not forget the costumes themed after Nintendo games. I mean, after all, this is a Wii U exclusive. They even included a Star Fox costume that allows you to... Wait, are you serious? Platinum Games, never change. Please. I mean, really, you guys have outdone yourselves. It's no wonder Nintendo asked you to help develop Star Fox Zero. If you're looking for an action-oriented game to play on the Wii U, consider picking this one up. You will not be disappointed. I'm not that big of a fan of the 2D Sonic games, but hot dang was I itching to play Freedom Planet. When I heard that this game was going to be on the Wii U in 2015, I couldn't wait to play it. And now that I have, I can definitely say that it plays like a typical 2D Sonic game from the Genesis era, and yet, at the same time, it manages to be its own thing. Galaxy Trail did a great job giving the levels that classic Sonic feel. They are vibrant, beautiful, expansive, fairly challenging, and enjoyable. The playable characters all have very unique playstyles, what with Carol's focus on combat and her physics-breaking bike, and Milla with her Tails-esque gameplay and that block, shield thing. But let's be real here. If you're a Sonic fan playing this, you want the speed, and Lilac definitely has your speed. No, I don't mean that other thing, so just settle down, people. As for the story, it's actually pretty good and admittedly very dark for something with an art style like this. And the outstanding performances by the voice cast complement this narrative beautifully. Any fan of the Sonic games, whether you like 2D or 3D, should not pass up on Freedom Planet. It has all the 2D Sonic goodness you can handle, and then some. So I managed to get Kingdom Hearts HD 2.5 Remix in 2014, but never played it until last year. I did manage to play both Kingdom Hearts 2 and Birth by Sleep, and while Birth by Sleep is great, I just prefer Kingdom Hearts 2 just a little bit more. Now yes, I pretty much know this game's story inside and out, but I never got the chance to experience the game for myself when it originally came out on the PS2. This was the Kingdom Hearts game that I was longing to play, mainly because the gameplay looked so appealing and action-oriented when compared to the first game. And after playing it myself, I'd say this is true, as the combat is much more fluid, fine-tuned, and combo-heavy than the first game. It's even more exciting for me since the version I got to experience was the final mix version with all of its mini extras that it added, like the awesome new Limit Drive form for Sora, the Cavern of Remembrance, new cutscenes that they actually managed to record new lines for in the English version, and best of all, the new boss fights seen in this version. I mean really, 7 new boss fights! Now that's what I call adding in new content to an updated version of a game. I can honestly say that this Kingdom Hearts game is my favorite so far. If Kingdom Hearts 2 is this smooth with its gameplay, then Kingdom Hearts 3 should be a joyride. Whenever Square decides to release it. What hasn't been said about Undertale? Well, aside from it not being number 1 on this list, absolutely nothing because the internet won't shut up about it. But I digress. This game is a beautiful masterpiece of a game. It has a great charm to it that makes it really stand out among the other games from last year, especially the big name releases. Now the gameplay is, well, a mix of a lot of genres, but it's mainly an RPG. Undertale is basically Earthbound's art style and quirkiness with Zelda's exploration and puzzles mixed with bullet hell and some platforming, and it's topped with a lot of decision making. What makes Undertale so great is the experience. You pretty much get to play the game the way you want to play it, and each playthrough will be different. Your choices in the game affect everything that happens in the world you are in, and how the outcome of your journey will end. The characters are some of the most memorable you'll ever come across, and a lot of them are pretty freaking hilarious. Throw in an awesome soundtrack, and you've got one of 2015's biggest highlights in the industry. Now, I've only done the neutral run of the game, and all I have to say about this run's final boss is... So go try the game out yourself. Just do yourself a huge favor and try to avoid spoilers. Though my jam for multiplayer games is Smash Bros, Splatoon is becoming a close second. For a new IP from Nintendo, it's been doing surprisingly well. When this game was announced, I was so fascinated by the game's concept of kids using weapons to fire ink to cover turf, and turning into squids to swim in the ink. It just works so well for a multiplayer game. Now yes, this game does have a single player mode, a fun one at that, and a local multiplayer mode, but come on. The majority of your time is going to be spent online playing in Turf Wars and the various rank battle variants as you level up your Inkling and your equipment to become stronger for future battles. And this is one Wii U game where you will be using the gamepad a lot, as it offers both information on how much turf has been claimed and the ability to super jump to teammates who might be in a literal sticky situation. The weapon selection in this game is so diverse that you're bound to find a weapon that suits your playstyle. Trust me, I found mine. The music is very catchy and fits well with the vibrant settings of each map. Speaking of the maps, this game does something that I wish other games would do. Free periodic DLC. I know Nintendo is ending Splatoon DLC this month, but look at all the stuff that was given to us between the game's release and now. It gave players a reason to come back for more helpings of Splat. If you plan on getting a Wii U, buy this game. Who knew being a kid, squid kid, would feel so good? Like I said, I missed out big time in 2014. This freaking game, is honestly one of the best games I've ever played in my life. Shovel Knight offers a fantastic retro gaming experience from start to finish. As a game that reminisces on the NES era of gaming, this game captures that feeling to a T with its great sprite work and outstanding 8-bit soundtrack, mostly composed by this guy. But it wouldn't be an NES-style game without it being really hard. Trust me when I say you are probably going to die a lot and lose a lot of gold. It's very tough to complete a stage and keep all the gold you've collected. But that's what makes this game so great. It offers exceptionally challenging and well-designed levels combined with its high-risk, high-reward style of play that give a thrill that I'm sure any gamer will enjoy. The boss fights are also well-designed. Believe me, I've covered most of them in the previous list. And thanks to the update last year giving us Plague of Shadows, there's even more of an incentive to come back to this game. Overall, if you haven't played Shovel Knight, you are missing out on one of the best creations of this generation of gaming. Now, this was going to be number 1, but a certain successor to a game I beat in November rose to the top. Show us light from now. Show us sight for where we can go. If the game is no guiding light, you know where is the goal. The original Xenoblade Chronicles was incredible, but Xenoblade Chronicles X blew my expectations out of the water. It expands on everything the original offered. You thought Xenoblade Chronicles world was massive? Ha! The planet Mira is a much bigger world. There are no loading times at all when exploring the world on foot, so when you reach new regions, it's in real time. Oh, and that jump button is gonna be your new best friend when exploring. Now, if you've played the original Xenoblade Chronicles, you'll be familiar with the battle system. But instead of visions, the party gauge, and talent arts, you get soul voice for aiding party members, tension points to use various arts, and overdrive. But if that's not enough for you, then try exploring the world and battling enemies in your very own Skell mech. It's like a mecha anime, and you get to play it. The gamepad is even useful here, helping you see where you are in the world, fast travel to save time when reaching destinations, and even locate side quests that aren't posted on the basic mission requests board. Speaking of, I feel side quests are handled much better here than in the original thanks to this convenience. The story and characters are as good as you'd expect them to be, but now you get to create your own avatar and customize the character to battle any way you like. And let's not forget that awesome soundtrack. Just outstanding. Yes, it's a shame that Star Fox Zero didn't get released, but I'm just glad Nintendo had this game up its sleeve. I can proudly say Xenoblade Chronicles X is my favorite game I played in 2015. I'm ChaosKey4013, and yes, this is my avatar character for Xenoblade Chronicles X. So why did I choose to play as a female? Simple. Christina V voice option.
try first. Miles and miles fly across our sky.